What's up? It's episode 18 of the SAC podcast, the SAC College Baseball Podcast. Coming at you with a midweek episode. We haven't done one of these in a while, so it's good to be back. I'm Travis here with TJ, Benji, and Brennan. We're going to do a little bit more of a free-form episode today. Typically, we have a pretty good structure for our weekend recap episodes. If you haven't checked out our interview we just dropped with Mercer's Jackson Kelly, the Iceman, go check that out. He's fantastic to interview, and it was just awesome to sit down with. He has some really good points just talking baseball-wise. But now, there wasn't a whole lot of midweek action. Brennan, you want to quickly touch on any of the midweek results that stuck out to you? I know there was a ton of action this week.
Yeah, a bunch of teams had no games, I guess, because the whole finals week. And it seemed to be like Oklahoma State was focusing on those finals a little bit harder than DBU was, because they lost 7-8 to a piss poor DBU team that's not even first in their conference. Shout out Evansville. UConn, the goats of D1 baseball, shit the bed against Northeastern, who swept NC State, so I guess they're not that bad, Southern Miss, I guess, got dethroned by Ole Miss for the Kings.
Now that was the pissing contest.
Mississippi, absolutely. And then UCLA dropped the heartbreaker to Cal State Fullerton. That was it.
Yeah, I should add. So just a little life context. I'm rocking my Pirates jersey. I just came from the Pirates Reds, and this is just another beautiful example of baseball. But the Pirates, we're a college baseball pod here, but the Pirates took a series from the Dodgers this week. And then tonight, the weather was beautiful. It was my fiance's younger brother's birthday today. So we picked them up and took them out to a baseball game, and Pirates riding high. And then they get shut out by the Reds, which was, beautiful ballpark aside, one of the best in the league. Really bad baseball, but the real entertainment came from the individual the individual sitting next to me who he had a friend that I was in Las Vegas.
Had to be in Las Vegas.
Oh, he was, because I watched him spend about 20 minutes trying to find a online breakfast buffet menu to send to his friend to go to. Yeah, so I glance over at this man whose wife proudly proclaimed that she had downed a half bottle of Maker's Mark before the game. So she was in
found your girl.
A mood. Yeah, she's maybe only about 60 years older. But so I glance over, look at the scoreboard, and I glance down and see this man's texting. Now, I'm going to preface this with the fact that I am not homophobic. My best friend growing up, we don't keep in touch very often, actually, if at all. He's gay now, and there was, I probably should have seen the warning signs that whenever we hung out, all he wanted to do was play American Idol and listen to Cheetah Girls music. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to repeat these words, and I'm just, again, not saying them myself. I'm just regurgitating what I observed, because he asked his friend how the fag convention went in the desert. And now, seeing this message, I was intrigued. So I glanced down every couple of minutes or so. And then I promptly see him say that he hopes that his friend was staying at the Cock Nugget Hotel and said he had to go to the Planet Hollywood breakfast buffet for $4.97, and proceeded to spend 20 minutes looking up how to find the breakfast buffet menu. So Pirates sucked. It was a minor league baseball game in a major league ballpark, but there was at least some entertainment value there.
It's great insight for the buffets, though. I will be in Vegas in a week. So
what?
You said $4.95 for a buffet at the Gold Nugget? All right,
also a little tidbit on the Cheetah Girls. I was gifted their CD when I turned 7.
Well, now that's some Tiger King shit.
Yeah, so
that joke works on multiple levels. Anyway, what are you doing in Vegas, Jars?
EDC. I got a music festival next week, so
awesome.
I will be
to Jordan for me.
Is UNLV in town?
The Hustle and Rebs are probably not in town. I probably won't be in town in my own life, but I will be
I'm actually
on this floating rock in the center of the
physically be in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I have a work thing
My
in
body
Chicago
will be there
on Monday, so I think I'm going to try to catch the Northwestern Purdue game on Sunday. See if I can make it out to that one for some really quality.
I have a few midweeks that are not a few, not notable, but Vandy squeaked out a win against Indiana State on Tuesday, and South Carolina lost to SC Upstate 9-6. So I guess Travis was right. They beat good teams and they shit in their hands and clap against bad teams. Also, Brennan, who was your number one pick again in the draft, the fantasy draft?
We didn't pause, folks.
Nobody's muted.
I don't want to say anything.
His first pick was Mississippi State, and they got beat by Samford, not Stanford, folks. Samford, 8-6.
Hey man, Samford's not bad. They produce Sonny D.
Yeah, actually,
Stanford's
Jess,
not bad.
Again, go check out our interview with Jackson Kelly. He did talk about facing Sonny in the whatever conference Mercer's in. Hey, I have a question. Is Georgia Tech the king of Georgia now?
And I don't think you can say that. After last podcast talking, I don't think we can say that.
It was one person saying they were a pretender.
So no, I don't think it's that. I think it's you talking about their ERA and everything that's been going on. I don't think we can consider them. Hey, granted,
give up does it really matter if you give up 12 runs in a game if you score 13?
No, it doesn't. And granted, our whole premise of the Kings of the State segment or picture is who wins against everybody in that state. So technically, yes.
Yeah, they've beaten Georgia Southern. They beat Mercer.
Everybody beats Mercer now.
I will be open to correcting it, but it will not be a Georgia Tech logo. It will be a headshot of Kevin Prada.
He didn't. I don't think he homered in that game. It was Andrew Jenkins that won.
But he's the only king of Georgia. Georgia Tech is not.
My only king of Georgia is Travis.
Hey. Okay, so the two things we really want to do tonight.
The three things really. We need a fit check. We didn't get.
Yeah, I was actually going to get to that. Brandon's wearing his dumb little brewery hoodie, so we don't need to.
For the 13th time. Welcome back to the 7th or the 18th episode.
Hey, I'm in my underwear this time, so at least it changed something.
Hey, that is who Brennan is, though. You can't diss.
Yeah, that is. I'm a big beer guy. You can't.
Until he steals someone's jersey.
Is that possibly a jersey of Joe Mancini's older cousin?
It isn't. It is not. I do wish I had Trey Mancini because I fucking love that guy. I actually used his like commemorative bat in MLB The Show. But no, it's actually the good old NL front runners 2015, 2016 batting practice jersey from Baltimore Orioles. Good old Manny Machado.
Ooh, that is hey, yeah. Good call.
Actually, you can thank Brennan. Brennan's got credit for this one. He actually told me to wear this one. So
nice.
I did.
Very cool.
It was either that or Belly, and I was like, ugh. Who's that fucking nerd?
Yeah, you get Belly.
So I'm pulling a Sujus and pulling a hockey jersey out.
You know, I was gonna bring that up. Didn't you give him so much?
Yeah, no, I did. I did, and I almost took it off, and then I was too drunk. I'm wearing a Carolina Hurricanes jersey, Sebastian Aho. We lost tonight by a lot.
I'm not surprised.
But I'm very surprised. We're hoping for a good game 7 on Saturday, but I'm rocking the Sebastian Aho jersey because hockey's a great sport, second to baseball, but I do love me some hockey. So
I'll be honest, I didn't even know the NHL was in the playoffs right now.
We are deep in it. You should watch a game because it gets feisty.
Any cup named after Stanley Hudson is definitely one to tune into.
I think I'd bet the whole paycheck that I just got paid that it's not made after Stanley Hudson.
It can be
because
we can just pretend it is.
I don't know.
Then that's enough
Definitely
hockey
sounds
talk.
like
All right.
Definitely sounds like a Stanley's mug. So
Let's move it. Well, did you even show your jersey or just bullshit about hockey for 5 minutes? You're muted.
I showed it.
All right.
I didn't show the back, but
So, all right, we're like what? I think 1 weekend series away now. There's this weekend and then next weekend, and I believe conference tournaments, if you play a conference tournament, begin. So we're really getting down to the nitty gritty of the college baseball season, which is awesome because if you're listening to this podcast, you certainly have watched an NCAA baseball tournament before. If by some off chance that you're a new listener, maybe from one of the pieces of content we've been putting out on the interwebs, watching the college baseball tournament is a wild experience because there's 16 double elimination tournaments going on at the same time just to get the super regionals, and then super regionals are electric, and then Omaha is Omaha. So we're right up against it, and a lot can still change. One of the things we wanted to do is try to identify who we think are locks for super regional hosting as well as regional hosting, and then who's on the bubble with regards to actually hosting a regional. There's too many teams, and we're not smart enough to go into a full tournament prediction probably tonight. And then we're also at some point going to get to our weekend pick'ems and a new segment incorporating a little bit of like pretend sports betting in. So got a lot to get to. So let's jump right in. There's one other side topic I want to talk about, and we're going to get to it when we talk about the regional hosting. So let's drop in. When we talk about locks for super regional hosts. So again, guys, these are locks for top 8 teams in the country. You got to go. We put out our little teams tier list a few days ago. Top 2, Tennessee and Oregon State.
Yep.
They're not going to change. I think we talked the last pod about how Oregon State is really making a push, against Tennessee for that number 1 spot. Unfortunately, RPI doesn't publish like a points metric. I can say on ELO, Oregon State is about 40 points behind Tennessee, and the distance between Oregon State and Arkansas is like 50 points. So it's quite a hurdle. Something would really like Tennessee. I think they just beat Georgia in game 1 of that series tonight.
Yeah, they did 5-2.
Okay, so they're probably going to win that series, and then I think they have Mississippi State maybe in their last series. I can actually look that up. I'm right on their page.
Yeah, it was someone super
yeah, Mississippi State. So there, it's very, very unlikely that Tennessee's not going to be the number 1 overall seed. So we're going to go ahead and mark down that the number 1 overall seed and the number 1 seed regional is in Tennessee in Knoxville, as well as the lock for the number 2. I mean, number 3 and 4 in our tier list, we had Oklahoma State and Arkansas. Going to ELO, Miami's at 4 and Oklahoma State's at 5. RPI, Oklahoma State's at 4. Arkansas is all the way down at 19. So we have to have a conversation. I think, how do you guys feel about having Oklahoma State as the 3 overall seed?
I like Oklahoma State at 3. I like them at 3. 4 and 5 is kind of where it gets a little weird.
So
I don't even know if I take Oklahoma State at 3.
Who would you have instead?
I would take
Auburn?
No, never. Shut up. Arkansas at 3. Because we talked about it. Oklahoma State on the road is not very good. And we've seen that Oklahoma State, even at home, gets beat by TCU. So I think
you're talking about Texas Tech. Oklahoma State's 14-4 on the road.
Well, didn't I have a bull take though that Texas Tech TCU beat Oklahoma State? at home?
Y-
And that's just one series, though.
no,
I
TCU. Yeah, TCU did beat Oklahoma State at home.
Okay, so yes, the road thing I was thinking about Texas Tech, but I don't. I
I
still
mean,
take.
they're 4 in RPI. And while this percolates, I do want to talk a little bit because the number 3 team in RPI is Dallas Baptist. And
Ugh.
No.
Dallas Baptist is playing in the
No.
Missouri Valley Conference and is not
They're
even
third in
leading
that
their own.
conference.
And
Correct.
Evansville is going to beat them this weekend.
So before we talk about this, I really want to take a quick offshoot and talk about this whole RPI thing because we put out a kind of joke of a meme that exploded a little bit because, we talked about Notre Dame and I called them soft for canceling their series against VMI last weekend. And they didn't say anything. They didn't publish anything. And we all assumed and kind of knocked them for it that they did so to protect their own RPI, because even if you lose, even if you win those games, your RPI is still going to plummet because you're playing such a horrible team.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. Like 1 year you're playing a team that already has an awful RPI, and then you beat them, so their RPI drops, which makes yours drop as well.
Yeah, it's just a lose-lose.
Doesn't really make any sense.
So fast forward to yesterday. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today. I thought it was yesterday. Texas A&M cancels their game at Incarnate Word. And Coach Schlossnagel comes out and says, hey, we did this to protect our RPI with how heavily the committee weighs that RPI when it considers regional hosting spots and super regional hosting spots. And I still don't like Notre Dame. I still think that they are going to get beaten in the tournament so badly. However, I do need to retract what I said because Schlossnagel coming out and saying it clear as day made me appreciate the fact that when you're talking about the thousands of dollars that's at stake for teams that are on the fringe of hosting a regional or even hosting a super regional, you're talking about television dollars, your ticket sales, tourism, like that's a lot of money. And it sucks because you scheduled that series on your calendar, but how is it not the right thing to do for your program to cancel that game? Like it's frustrating because for me, what I was trying to advocate in that meme I sent was this idea, like it's wrong of the committee to weigh so heavily on that one statistic that can be flawed like that and effectively penalizes teams for playing, weaker teams, even if they beat them. I don't know if you guys had any particular thoughts you wanted to share on this topic. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Or we talk about DBU, who's 3, and we all know is not even is 3rd in their conference, which is not a premier conference in college baseball.
Well, I was listening to I think it was 11.7, and they were talking about how it pays in the RPI to play baseball in Georgia, play baseball in Florida, play baseball in Texas and California, because you're just surrounded by all of these teams that are so good, and they schedule a lesser opponent, and that boosts that lesser opponent's RPI, which technically, in the way the RPI works, boosts those bigger teams' RPI. So it's kind of like a win-win for both those teams, but everyone else loses that don't get the opportunity to play those teams, beat those teams and things like that. So I kind of equate what Texas A&M and Notre Dame have done to sitting out a bowl game to help a draft stock,
That's a good idea. And like, didn't that a few years ago used to be kind of like frowned on, and now, and I'm not as close to college.
Yeah, now everybody does it.
Right now, it's like, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about the number of dollars that's at stake, like, you get
it. Yeah. Do I tear my ACL in a bowl game that doesn't matter, or do I get an extra
cost myself
$3 million?
millions of dollars? Yeah.
Yes. So what I'm alluding to is, do y'all think that teams are going to start scheduling heavier opponents later in the season now?
And that's what I was going to bring up, is because these weren't scheduled, like these games weren't scheduled this year. They were scheduled
2 years.
Right.
We talked to Coach Wes Carroll, and he said,
that's a great point.
We scheduled these 2-3 years in advance. So it's not like we're gonna know what Oregon State or Florida State's gonna do within the next 2-3 years to be, oh, they're such a high tier player. And obviously that's a bad like conclusion because they're ACC teams, or ACC and Pac-12 teams, but like you can't just base a guess off of 2-3 years in advance. I mean, we've seen it even in NCAA with people coming out of college or coming out of high school, excuse me, with the number one prospect going to a D2 school. Like with things changing now with the NIL rules and everything going on, you can't base it off of 2-3 years in advance. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. And like most teams, so like with Texas A&M, like they're fighting for a hosting spot. Like they're fighting for a top 8. Like they could potentially host a super.
They're fighting for a super regional.
Yeah.
No.
So, but the reason why they're scheduling these shitty teams, in the later of the season is they need a break. Like you need a break playing in the SEC, playing in the AAC, playing in the Big 12, even the Pac-12. Like you need a break to where your players can kind of relax during the week and then go hit a Georgia, go hit a LSU, a Tennessee on the weekend hard.
That's what I was going to ask is, do you guys think that the concept of the RPI, do you think that hurts the little guys? Like, obviously Iona is not the greatest, but for them to get a scheduled game versus anybody, do you think that having this idea out there could hurt their potentials of getting more and more games in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like
Yeah.
I saw one tweet. It's like it's a guaranteed RPI boost to lose 3 games to Tennessee for any team that's that low of an RPI.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's interesting, like Georgia Tech not playing a series this weekend. A lot of ACC teams had designated a weekend off. Right, like how, and that's essentially right what Notre Dame did last weekend. They just canceled their series. I guess that's where you can draw a little bit of a medium ground. Like, yeah, you have to do what you have to do to protect your RPI and do what's best for your program. But if you see that in advance, just take a weekend off as opposed to telling a team you're going to play them and then
Right.
not play them.
No, I
But
totally agree with that.
But
because
Benji, you're right. Like it does hurt the little guys. Like who's going to want to schedule a game, a series against Alcorn State, against
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And Iona and Alcorn State, any of those guys.
Aside from conference play, you know what I mean?
Yes, because even like Notre Dame, like those guys that they were supposed to play were prepping to play them, and then they were like, we're not going to show up. Like it kind of screws the little. It screws the little guys that are barely on the cusp of still being D1 programs, and it's just furthering the progression of their own programs as well.
So I do have a question.
Create a separation in D1 baseball to kind of like the NCAA football. There's only like 110 D1 football teams, but there's 300 and something D1 baseball teams.
Yes.
So it's like they're going to create this divide and this separation, and those teams are going to have to get bumped down because
there's about to be 500 D2 teams because of this. If it progresses, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I want to bring up is because teams, like I said earlier, it's scheduled 2-3 years in advance. The bigger schools pay the smaller schools sums of money to do that. So when you cancel a game, obviously those smaller schools still get that sum of money because it was on the schedule. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to knock a lot of the lower D1 schools down to D2. I think in a way it does hurt them because it hurts the RPI, yes. But at the end of the day, they still get, when like Iona, when they played Tennessee, they got X amount of money. It was probably a lot. So, that helps them build their program to be a more competitive D1 team.
Yeah, you're not
so
wrong.
At the end of the day, it does hurt them in the RPI, but years down the road,
It
I
could
think,
help.
and I'm not saying Iona's going to be an elite team. I'm saying, but smaller schools, it will build them to be like, hey, we have this sort of money. We're building this.
I mean,
It
even
would help them.
a good example is Georgia Southern. Like they weren't a great team, but they are contenders at least. They were some sort of a contender this year, you know, compared to prior years where they have grown over the years, and that could be a good example of that.
Yeah, and I guess we can take this conversation for like 30 more minutes and
Oh,
incorporate the
absolutely.
whole like topic of NIL coming out and like the scholarship cap possibly being lifted with the new NCAA leadership. Like that has huge implications on the balance of power in D1 baseball. But we probably should, and guys, we're not college baseball reporters. Like we're a couple of guys that love baseball and love college baseball. So our word is not the end all be all. I think at the end of the day, the take home for me is that I wish the selection committee would use a more like avenues of information. And that's why, like, for our fantasy system, I kind of dictated that we use the ELO rankings from Warren Nolan. And I like that because you don't get penalized for winning a game against a shitty team. You gain points, but you gain like 0.001 point if you beat a shitty team, as opposed to if you lose, you're going to drop down because it calculates the difference in like the win expectancy. So that's why I love that statistic, because if you win, you get points. If you lose points, and the amount of points determined on what's the difference in the win expectancy for the two teams. So I guess we should really kind of wrap up our spiel, but
so in other words,
last thing
you should work
I'm gonna
for
say
the
on this.
NCAA.
yes, I should.
Yeah, last thing I'm gonna say on this is that's the main difference between like college baseball and college football, because at the beginning of the season, everybody schedules a fucking a piss poor
Cakewalk.
opponent. Yeah, to start the season off strong, and that doesn't hurt them at the end of the year when it's come times to, oh, we have a 14 playoff, and oh, you beat
I mean, they
Southeastern
do say
Carolina
like, well, what was
State
their
of
strength of
Technical
schedule?
College. Yeah,
They
it doesn't
compare
matter.
strength of schedule. They do, but it's when
Right,
you're talking
but
about
it's
one
not
game.
off an RPI base. Yeah, that's where the game of college baseball gets way more interesting than any other sport, I feel like, because it goes into way more statistics and way more like statistical engineering than any other sport. So
Yeah,
that might have sounded stupid. I'm a little drunk, but
data analysis, baby. So let's roll it back, rein it in.
Yeah.
Talk about 3 seeds. So I think my vote, we in our rankings, we have Arkansas as the number 3 team in the country. We have to differentiate here, talking between how good we think teams are versus their resume. And I have to say, I think Oklahoma State does have a stronger resume. They're 13-4. They're kind of running away with the Big 12. Don't forget, like in terms of what their resume is, they have a statement series win at Vanderbilt at the very beginning of the year. They swept Texas at Texas. Obviously, I think winning at Tech versus Texas Tech this weekend will be the kind of wrap up of their season. I think resume wise, they're the number 3 team. I think,
which they're gonna sweep.
I think so. So let's pencil in Stillwater and number 3, Oklahoma State. Now, number 4.
Number 4, I have no problem putting Arkansas there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, again, Arkansas 19 on RPI right now. I do believe they're winning the SEC West, but it's not a landslide.
They are. I think that they're like one game up.
One thing interesting about Arkansas,
A&M,
they've only played 12 road games, and they're 6-6 in them. They're 27-5 at home, 3-1 neutral, and they're only 6-6 on the road. They haven't played a particularly tough schedule. Their strength of schedule is 58, and non-conference strength of schedule is 248.
what is their last 2 series? Do you have it pulled up?
last two series.
Are they road
Au-
series?
Auburn and Ole Miss.
They beat
Are they on the road?
Auburn in Auburn, and then they beat
And
Ole
beat
Miss.
Ole
And
Miss at
at
I'm
home,
sorry,
at
I'm
home,
sorry.
at home.
Next two series. Sorry.
Oh,
Texas
next two
A&M
series.
at Texas A&M.
No,
Oh,
you're asking what you're asking
oh,
what your next series. It's Vanderbilt at home and Alabama on the road.
Actually, they have one game at Vanderbilt.
Okay, so I don't know.
So who are you comparing them against at 4? Who do you think should grab that 4 spot or compete with that 4 spot over Arkansas?
That's what I'm looking at.
If your answer is Virginia Tech, you're wrong.
It's not. Yeah. I mean,
Because-
they're a solid 5-6, but
Because Virginia Tech's 2 games behind.
not a
Miami.
4. I can't picture.
I still think Virginia Tech's a better team though than Miami.
So we're saying
But-
Arkansas at 4.
I like Arkansas at 4.
And I guess the biggest thing for you is that they're winning the SEC.
Yeah,
They're okay.
yeah. I mean, they're winning the SEC. They have
Yeah,
big wins
they're-
in the year.
They're winning the SEC West.
They're
I
very
don't-
good. They're a very good team. They're very good. They can win. I think they can win anywhere at any time. Over Miami. I think if head-on-head game with Miami, Virginia Tech, I think Arkansas takes it.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Who am I thinking at 5? 5 is where it gets a little hairy.
5 was the Miami Virginia Tech argument.
Oh
And-
shit, my team isn't even not
I
my
would-
team, but
I would take Virginia Tech over Miami.
Yeah, I agree.
They won
But they're
head-to-head.
not. But they're not even winning in the ACC.
No,
Let's pull up the
but I still
ACC
think they're the better
standings.
team.
yeah, I would go 5 Virginia Tech, 6 Miami, maybe. My 7 is locked in for sure. And I think it may surprise a few people. But
Virginia Tech
Is it Gonzaga?
12 and
it
7.
is
So-
not
so
Gonzaga.
Miami's 11-7 against. Oh, actually, Virginia Tech probably gets the head-to-head with
Yeah,
this one. So
that's what I'm saying.
Miami's 11-7 versus RPI 50, and Virginia Tech's 12-7 RPI 50, but head-to-head goes for Virginia Tech.
Let's do VT at 5 and
In
Miami at
that
6.
case,
Blacksburg, I
Damn,
believe.
I thought
is
I had a
where
better argument of
Arkansas-
Miami over Virginia Tech. Fuck, I just fucked myself.
Miami. Okay.
We gotta let TJ go first for this one. So I'm interested to see what he says for 7.
This may be bold, it may be
So-
stupid.
Just to refresh, right? We've got
Probably both.
two additional super regional hosts.
What?
All right, let's
God damn.
lay it on us.
Wait, what?
Keep us in suspense.
Two
Bring
additional
out
hosts
with it.
and-
Spit it out.
Yeah, give us words, cuz.
Today, Junior.
Yo, fucking tag is a tag a town. I think they're gonna host a regional.
LSU?
Yep. I
Yeah,
do.
maybe at 16.
16. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
They're
yeah,
gonna host
they-
a regional. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
I'll
talking
take
about-
that.
We're still talking about super regional hosts.
You have them at 7? You have them as the top 8 in the country.
Yes, I do.
Oh God, I hate you because I want to.
You wanna believe-
I want to love it so
much because he wants to agree with me.
I
but
want
he
to love it
can't.
so much, but I can't.
I do.
You have,
man.
you have
They're
Auburn.
playing- They're playing good baseball. I mean,
But
Dude,
you have
Auburn-
Louisville, you have Auburn, you have Stanford, you have Texas Tech.
I was
You
gonna
have
say
Texas
A&M,
Tech.
you have
No,
Gonzaga,
Texas Tech is falling
Virginia.
off. Texas
Uh,
Tech is gonna fall off.
I was
I
gonna
know
say
that Eric
Stanford.
said. I know that Eric said that they were gonna do well in the next 2 weeks. They're not. Stanford is not gonna do well in the next 2 weeks. Auburn, maybe, but I don't see them jumping that high in the SEC West to contest with LSU.
How I feel about
Dude,
you saying
they're
this
tied in the SEC West.
is you saying this. I want to kiss you.
Is this?
But with a
Am I
bad
not
idea.
looking at an updated one? What are
LSU
you
and Texas
looking at?
A&M are both 14 and 10 in the SEC West.
Auburn.
I apologize. I thought you were
13-11,
talking about-
bitch.
Yes. No. 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 Yeah, I know Texas A&M and they're LSU are.
Okay. See, I don't know, man.
I know it's a bold pick, but I feel like I've shit on LSU way too
Dude,
much this
Texas
year.
A&M, last 2 series, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. They have the Mississippi teams.
All right, so I'm gonna reel it back in.
Stanford
and
has
take that
Utah.
back.
Stanford has Utah and Southern Cal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Utah's not a for sure one though. Utah is not a for sure win. Stanford has been a very iffy team. I know they're a very good team.
Stanford
now,
is 30 and 14.
So LSU remaining series, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, including the series at Vanderbilt.
Okay, so that
Brendan, how
that's
confident
also,
are you that LSU is going to go win at Vanderbilt?
I'm actually very confident.
I would agree with that.
I think they're definitely going to drop one of both series because Ole Miss is coming in with the dick swinging after last year. They're definitely going to win. They're going to lose one of each, but they're going to win.
No,
they're gonna
LSU.
win 2. They're going to get to 17-10 in the SEC, and they'll end up hosting, or 18-10, 18-12, sorry, and they will end up hosting a regional, but it won't be a super.
Brennan, let me talk
What
for
about-
you here. They're smoke checking Ole Miss 3-0 in the series. They're dropping 1 to Vanderbilt.
What is wrong with Stanford?
Okay,
What's wrong with Louisville?
Here's the Benji. I think for Stanford, I don't think that they're they're at 23 RPI right now. I'm pulling up their team page. They've played a really tough schedule. Well, moderately. Quadrant 1 teams though 5 and 7. So
yeah, I got Louisville bring up the ass end of this. I meant Stanford bringing up the ass.
I don't think that the Pac-12 warrants 2 super regional hosts. I don't think it's strong enough.
I think they get 2, but Stanford's. I think Stanford sneaks in.
To a super regional host.
Oh, super! No.
That's what we're talking
Oregon
about.
State.
So that's why I wanted to separate, because we're talking about which teams that belong in the 7 and 8 spots. I think we have to agree, right? Looking at what we have right now, we've got Tennessee and Arkansas from the SEC. We've got Virginia Tech and Miami from the ACC. Oregon State and Oklahoma State representing the Pac-12 and Big 12. Those are the 4 best conferences in baseball. I personally think 7 and 8, there should be 1 additional SEC and 1 additional ACC team. Does anybody have a disagreement with that?
Louisville.
Virginia.
So let's wrap up.
Yes.
Let's wrap up. Wait, oh, you're disagreeing?
I don't think that 1 SEC and 1 ACC. Sorry.
Why?
I think, dude, I've been riding with them all year long, and I feel like Texas is.
No. Oh my God.
No, Texas is not hosting.
Texas Tech isn't even
Texas
hosting
is
a
not
regional
hosting
this year.
No, not
Neither
Texas
one of
Tech. Not Texas Tech.
Not Texas either.
Yeah, you can fuck right out of here with that take. Texas, you want me to go?
Clip that.
Right.
Might as well just press the right X.
So my vote for 7 is going to be Louisville.
Let me
possibly
15, 8 and 1.
I'm just saying, if Texas hosts a super regional, I do want apologies.
Texas is that's not going to happen.
They won't, and if they do somehow.
See, my problem with Louisville is they play Virginia Tech next week. Or this
Trevin, Texas has 1 series remaining with Kansas as a host. They're at 17 in the RPI. They're barely over 500 in the Big 12. Like if you pull up the Big 12 standings conferences, and the Big 12 is not a great baseball conference this year. Big 12 standings.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're sitting at 6 in the Big 12.
I'm sorry. So we're talking hosting, I guess. Sorry.
They're
gonna
where
win
have
out.
Where have you been?
Sorry.
15
Shut
minutes.
the fuck up, Benji. I've been balls deep in Mike.
See,
Right.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up that discussion. Trevin's a fucking idiot. All right.
Put Louisville in there.
But this is
please.
not a
Texas makes it to the College World Series.
If they beat Virginia Tech in the series, I could give you Louisville. But I don't know if they can actually beat.
Who's going to
Virginia
replace a
Tech.
fucking Notre Dame?
No.
Hey, okay. We need to move
Auburn?
on. I have one question. We've been talking a lot of noise that the ACC is better than the SEC this year. We've got Arkansas as the second SEC host above the top two ACC dogs in Virginia Tech and Miami. Should we move Arkansas down to 6 and bump Tech and Miami up above Arkansas?
I will let you bump them down 1. I'll let you move VT up 1 and
I agree
leave
with
Miami
that.
where they are.
I agree with that. Because I don't think Miami's better than Arkansas. either.
But I'm gonna need Louisville at 7 or Auburn at 7.
Well, let's decide. Okay, are we agreeing that the ACC team, the other ACC super
where
regional
the
host should
hell
be
did Auburn come from?
Louisville? Yeah, we let's talk about the ACC first. ACC standings. Louisville's up 1 game on Notre Dame in the ACC Atlantic, so they're the clear winner of that conference in all likelihood. And their remaining schedule is
Virginia Tech and Virginia.
so not easy.
Louisville. I mean, Notre Dame would
pen-
cancel the series against.
Let's
Louisville, to be honest.
let's pencil Louisville in at the 7, predicated
Notre-
upon the fact that they win.
Notre Dame's got Pittsburgh and Miami.
Notre Dame's going to lose at Miami, and they probably
Yeah.
so let's say Louisville at 7 if they at least win against Virginia and have a good showing against Virginia Tech. Louisiana.
Which they will. Which
Oh,
they
yeah.
will.
I don't think so. I think Virginia Tech's just going to be like.
2 V's don't make a W, pussy. It's
Okay,
2
now
L's.
8. We're talking about the last super regional host. We want to pick an SEC team.
SEC.
That's what I'm pop. If I didn't say that, I apologize. SEC team.
It's got to be Auburn.
It's gonna be Auburn,
Yeah, I don't think anybody else.
unless you think it's A&M.
That's where the toss up goes.
Okay, so
Dude.
Auburn, 13 and 11 in the SEC.
A&M is on a hot streak.
A&M is
man.
14-10 in SEC.
Auburn is 13 11 in the SEC. They
A&M.
are 33 and 16 overall. Their last schedule is Alabama and Kentucky. So they're
A&M's
very-
Win.
Very similar to A&M, who's
Yeah.
I know
the
that
thing
kind of
is,
seems wrong with your
A&M
graph,
is-
but A&M is a very good postseason type baseball club. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Oh,
with that.
Only because they have Schlossnagel.
I mean it's just historical without all of Texas A&M's teams. I feel like A&M would beat Auburn.
It'd be a good, yeah.
But-
It'd be a
but
good.
Now
I would
okay.
I would put a solid slash mark. Texas A&M Auburn. I feel like it
So-
could be.
Let's write in Texas A&M or Auburn. Now, are we ruling out LSU because LSU is tied with A&M in the conference standings, and they've got,
LSU's not going to be.
I'm not. They're at 7.
No,
you don't think so?
their RPI is worse.
Okay,
They got.
and they
some-
lost series to both A&M and Auburn, right?
Yep, they have some
Okay.
very bad fielding issues.
All right, so let's do C-Stat or Auburn.
So I mean, if you want to pencil in Auburn A&M, and then Auburn A&M for 9 as well, I mean-
yeah, that'd be fun.
because
Kinda
I
fun.
mean both those teams aren't going to drop any farther.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now we're getting into the remaining regional hosts that are not super regional hosts. So number 10, what do you guys think? We're talking about I'll make RPI here. Top ones that come to mind: Vanderbilt's 5 in the RPI, Georgia's 9, Notre Dame
Over Vandy.
11.
Mm,
I think Vandy's like a 13.
Dude, I don't even see any SEC
Vandy is
team
Vandy
for
is
a while.
nothing.
Yeah, Vandy. They're gonna have to pull it out their ass. So
So do we want to
I
put
try to
Stanford
do
up
something.
there? They're at 11 in the
Yeah.
ELO. 2 easy winnable series remaining on the schedule. A Pac-12 team. Maybe we mix it up and because now, okay, we should also look at what the matchups will be because right now, right, we've got Auburn and Texas A&M basically playing each other if they win the regionals. 10 would play Louisville. So, Stanford, Louisville, Georgia.
We also talk
Louisville.
about the fact that if it is an Auburn, Texas A&M, that would be an amazing series.
That would be electric.
That'd
Absolutely
be
electric.
Very good.
So with the RPI, the way it is, the only team we don't really have is Notre Dame.
Yeah, we'll put Notre Dame at 10.
Is Notre Dame and Georgia.
Yeah.
I hate that grin that Benji has. I hate that fucking grin.
No, that's why it took me so long to say it. 'Cause I was like,
No, I'm not disagreeing. I've never once said they don't have a good resume. I've just
Yeah.
said that they
Yeah,
look
I
like a
know.
shit
It's just that Benji was over there just
he
was over there like,
since 1969, baby. Fuck them all.
I mean, ACC.
cute ass
back to
motherfucker.
SEC, right? They're above Florida State. The only team that's above them in their division of the ACC is Louisville. So I can see it. Let's put Notre Dame in there.
Yeah,
South
All right.
Bend,
my boys.
Notre Dame, and then
So
Georgia at 11.
I would
That would
say
be-
Georgia. I do like Georgia.
That'd be a Georgia,
they've been
Miami.
playing. Yeah, Georgia, Miami. Georgia been playing really good ball.
If
They
we can
started
find,
off hot.
if we can
they-
find another team to put in at 11, we'd be looking at a Georgia Arkansas super regional.
let's
Let's
find
see.
this.
I don't know how
UGA
often
ending.
the committee matches up like same conference opponents.
So UGA is playing Tennessee this week.
Yikes! Sorry
They
about
just
that.
So that's gonna hurt them. I mean, they're gonna go 0-3.
What can we
They're
say?
gonna go
Can
0-3.
can we say 0-3 though?
I think they'll take one.
No,
Yeah,
they're gonna go 0-3.
no, because they dropped 2 to Kentucky, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not automatic,
exactly
is
why
it?
Georgia's
And
going
Georgia-
0-3.
Georgia is
I-
a very good baseball team, man.
I think Georgia will take one from Tennessee.
I think they take 1, probably not 2, but
Did
maybe.
No,
Cannon-
they're
did
not
Cannon
winning
pitch
the
tonight?
series.
But so if Georgia drops 2, then they're third in the SEC East behind Vanderbilt. So how are you going to have a hosting team that's third in the eastern part of the SEC? You know,
That'd be another good
Well,
matchup.
Vandy's not.
yeah, exactly. They're behind a non-hosting team
Shit. Okay, you got
because they're
you
at
got
least losing 2, so
got
they're going to drop behind
clip
Vanderbilt.
clip it and save it. That you're due for 37. All right. Fuck, man.
But so there's this weird group of 3 where you have Maryland, Virginia, and LSU,
we
need a Big
have
Ten team
still-
hosting.
which are at 14, 15,
Dude,
There aren't
16.
many options.
yeah,
I tell
dude,
you
it's
It's
what.
Maryland. It's not. There's no options. It's
Yeah,
Maryland.
no, it's Maryland, Virginia, and LSU at 14, 15, 16 RPI.
Oh,
I mean, are we?
Um,
Why?
if there's any Tennessee fans listening, when did I was trying to see if Jonathan Cannon pitched today for Georgia. He did not. So I agree that Georgia can still get a game from Tennessee. Chase Burns was the Friday night starter. Did he get hurt or something? Because he came out of the bullpen tonight. He threw an inning.
No, he's taking a rest weekend against the University of Georgia.
So if
Oh,
we're talking super regionals, which we are.
We're no longer talking about super regionals. Oh, are you talking about matchups in the super regionals?
No, super regional hosts.
Those are done.
So these guys are not super regional hosts. They're just.
I'm
regional
going backwards. I'm a
Yeah,
fucking moron.
You're an idiot. Okay.
dude.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
I mean,
Let's-
yeah, Maryland for the Big Ten, but I don't want to count out Rutgers.
I do. I want to count.
Yeah,
Maryland just beat
100%.
Rutgers. There's no
Yeah,
chance.
yes,
Rutgers.
they did. But
There's no. The Big Ten is going to have one.
Rutgers at 46 in the RPI. There's no shot of them hosting.
The Big Ten is
anything.
going to have.
all right, I'm
I
stupid.
think
Sorry.
it's one regional host, and it's going to be Maryland. So
All right,
now
just
the
cut that
question.
one out.
The question is, right? We know Maryland has to be in here somewhere.
Yeah. Do they get over?
Right. We just
do
need
we
to talk
have-
about which teams belong
Yeah,
over Maryland.
So
And
we have
there's-
Notre
that's
Dame.
they're at 14 in the
Um,
RPI.
So do we give them the credit of the RPI and put them over Virginia and put Virginia at 12, or do we put Virginia over them and put Maryland at 12?
Let's see here, Maryland.
Because LSU's
so-
coming up real soon here.
11. If we put them at 11, they would be playing Miami. Put them at 12. They're Arkansas. 13, or Oklahoma State. 14. Shit, what did I just say? I skipped Virginia Tech. Oh, that would be probably a decent one for them. Like that would be close. So maybe we should put them at 13 overall. Would put them against Virginia Tech. Like that's a pretty.
You talking about Maryland?
Yeah.
But who are you putting at 11 and 12? LSU, Virginia, LSU.
Probably another ACC and SEC team. Yeah. Unless we want to talk about Stanford.
I'm cool with that. I would like to see Maryland versus
Virginia
Tech. The two home run dinger boys.
College Park, Maryland. Okay. So 11 and 12. Let's talk about where we want to fit Stanford in here. Because I think that they deserve to be a regional host. I think they have the resume to do it. We talk about Stanford. They are sitting at 23.
They don't deserve.
They're 15-9 in the Pac-12. They're 30 and 14 overall. 23 RPI. And that's gonna when Utah is not a pushover team, and then USC is a little bit this year. So I can't say how that's gonna develop, but they're 5-7 quadrant 1, 13-4 quadrant 2. The big series statements. They took a series from UCLA at UCLA. They split a series with Grand Canyon, who we know is not a pushover team. Swept Cal. They're not that great. So, I mean, here's the thing. They beat Oregon State in Corvallis. Let's not forget about that series.
Okay, so if you want to put Stanford in, I think you need to bump Maryland back one. Because you still have Virginia and LSU at 15-16.
I would put Virginia behind Maryland.
Really?
Yeah.
So they bump Maryland up one.
No, put Virginia or LSU and Stanford at 11 and 12.
And then put Virginia at 14?
Yeah, that's what I said. I would put Virginia below Maryland.
Okay.
So
that sounds kind of cute.
Let's say so the 11 seed plays the 6 seed. So LSU or Virginia against Miami.
Oh, put LSU there because I don't want to see Virginia Miami again.
Okay, so
dude, that would be so sick. Nothing but ACC SEC matchups.
That'd be pretty sick, and that makes sense. I don't think the committee would want to put 2 same conference teams. So then we're putting Stanford,
Virginia, Stanford.
So Palo Alto, Stanford. I'm pretty impressed with all these city names I know, and then Charlottesville, I believe, is where UVA is. I didn't spell that right at all.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah. Yep. That Charlottesville.
Yeah, I got close.
Don't worry, you have Louisville.
Yeah. So 15-16.
Right,
we've got one Big 10 team. We've got one Big 12 team. And then we've got
Texas.
2 Pac-12. No, get out of here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC.
So you essentially have
5 ACC.
You have Gonzaga. You have Southern Miss.
Nope. I think they've lost their chance. I mean, does Southern Miss realistically have a chance to host?
No. But what I'm saying is next up in the RPI would be that have the opportunity to host.
Georgia Southern and the Fun Belt.
You have Gonzaga, Southern Miss,
Georgia Southern.
I guess Georgia Southern.
They're at 10. What do you mean? You guess?
They're also 1-6 versus RPI top 25. They're 7-11 versus top 50.
What about UConn?
Nope.
Ugh. UConn. Hold on, let me look at that. What the
They're
fuck is their
14
RPI
and
again?
they're 14-1 with a 40-9 record.
38. Their RPI is at 30. 37.
It kind of blows my mind that they're that high though. We also just talk shit about RPI for a little bit.
We already know we don't like the RPI, but the point is, like, we're still giving it a lot of credit because we know the selection committee values it. So that's the problem. It's the
That's
catch
true.
22
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. No, we have to until
Yeah,
the
that's
systems
fair.
fit.
So we can
That's
make our
fair.
own tournament, but that's nobody's gonna want to hear that.
Touche.
So
It'd be the
think-
top 64 RPI teams.
Yeah, with automatic bids. I guess if we're picking the last two, I would lean Georgia Southern and
Gonzaga.
I mean, you keep saying Gonzaga. Wofford is a better RPI than them.
But George, but they're not top of their conference.
Is that true?
Yes, Wofford fucking fuck Wofford. That's like saying
Wofford
Mercer
is at the
should
top of
host
their
people.
conference.
What's their conference?
The Southern.
Wofford
Conference.
is very much so top.
Yeah,
The-
they're like
the-
3
must-
games up.
You
on
must not have
Mercer.
listened to the interview with
No, I didn't.
versus
And what's their conference?
Southern Conference. They're 3 games up on Mercer and Samford.
Okay, and you value that over the Conference USA with Southern Miss?
yes.
No, because that fucking conference is worse.
But Southern Miss is 26 RPI. They're 18-6 in conference.
2
Let's
and
look
4
at,
RPI top 50. Wofford is 8 and 6 top 50. I don't know, but you also have to look. Some of these teams just can't host.
RPI conference ranking. The Big 12 is okay. Here's one thing, guys. Pulling up conference RPI, the Big 12 is ahead of the Pac-12. And we've already put 2 Pac-12 teams in. So I feel like we should get another Big 12 team in and CUS.
Who
It's not
would
gonna be
that Big
Texas.
12 be?
Texas is sixth in the Big
It
12.
would be, I mean, it would be fucking TCU over those fucking scumbags.
Okay, maybe we'll just say or Oklahoma State's the clear winner of the Pac-12. The next 2 conferences are CUSA and Missouri Valley. So I mean, we can pencil in the Purple Aces as the number 16.
I'm cool with that.
That'd be
So let's-
nice.
Southern
no,
Miss.
no one have objection over there.
I just
But
it's tough because
I'm not letting TCU or Texas Tech host a regional. Fucking
let's
I mean,
let's make
Texas
sure
Tech isn't going to host a regional. We're fine with
let's get Evansville at the 16, and we need to pick between Southern Miss and Georgia Southern because Sun Belt is 7 in conference RPI, Conference USA is 5, so Southern Miss is the leader of the Conference USA, which is the better
Southern
RPI
Miss.
conference, but they have looked really shitty recently. Like
yeah,
they-
but that,
I don't know. Okay, let's do Southern
but-
Miss but shit.
but where does Gonzaga fit in this whole grand scheme of things?
Fucking nowhere.
Nowhere.
No Gonzaga, no UConn, baby.
What conference
don't
does
care.
Gonzaga play in? West Coast Conference? Yeah, 10th conference in terms of RPI.
They're 14 and 7 in their conference. Wofford's 24 and 10 in their conference. They
Cannot
an-
possibly play
They have an
34
equivalent.
conference games.
Yeah, you can if you're Wofford, and the only people you can travel and play is your conference because you're fucking poor.
All
But
right.
Gonzaga has consistently been rated or ranked like 16 through 12 the entire year. You can't
Well,
ignore that.
Okay, maybe let's just make a
They
list of bubble
beat, they
teams.
beat Oregon State.
Let's make a list of bubble teams. So we've included
I'm gonna
Georgia
fucking kill
Southern.
myself. I'm on
Georgia
suicide
Southern,
watch.
Southern Miss,
What's
Gonzaga.
that first round of your 9 looking like, huh?
I've experienced that way too much. Stop. Not personally, but with other people.
First round of 9's got my name on it.
I
huh?
agree with Brennan. I just want to say that.
And
I think
Wofford.
Gonzaga needs to be in there.
I agree. I think 15.
LSU.
I don't care which one.
LSU's at 11, buddy. But
Oh, I gotta get
Bucko.
Elizabeth in.
I think you're right on the Gonzaga pick.
Thank you. don't know.
I think it should be 15 Gonzaga, 16 Evansville. Jowers, you're
No,
either
that's not true.
I got
Logan.
lost at number 4.
Yep. That's why you haven't said anything. I was also about to say you look either obviously you're drunk. You sound like
I'm not even that drunk. I'm so tired.
Let's just wrap this up then. I mean, what
Yeah,
else we're
fuck
gonna
your
talk-
bets, Brendan. I can't even talk about pluses and minuses right now.
yeah,
I'm
we can do
minus
that.
my
We,
life
wait,
real
we
quick.
should wait for something like that though on Saturday with all the boys.
You know, Monday.
So yeah, Saturday. Oh my
We're too
God.
tired. All right.
Dude, Benji's eyes were closed when he said that. He said we should wait for that with Saturday. with all the boys."
Saturday, bro.
All right. New segment coming soon. I apologize, Brendan, for not getting to that. But
Oh no, you're good. This
No, I do really think that segment is a dope idea though.
I'm definitely excited to do it.
yeah, don't worry. I only
It's-
wasted 45 minutes to an hour of my time.
Yeah, and then got called out 6 seconds into the pod
Yeah.
about how bad it was.
all right.
Yeah. So let's see. Gonzaga at 15, Southern Miss at 16. That's our final answer.
Wait,
And
no,
let's
no,
look-
Evansville.
Nope.
Jesus.
Evansville's not
No.
fucking hosting a regional. Are you kidding me? Their fucking ass. So anyways,
They're winning the. And don't let Bob.
The
hear you say
Missouri
that.
Valley.
I'm not. I'm just kidding. But the RPI
Bob,
in the
we love
NBC
ya.
is nothing. I mean, they're one game ahead in the NBC.
I mean, it's realistic that they're not.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't you think that if they beat DBU, their RPI is going to skyrocket, beat the number 3 overall deep RPI team?
So they're not going to get a 16. They're not hosting anything.
I'm just saying.
They will get an automatic 3 bid for sure. Automatic 3 bid. And hopefully they go to South Bend and they definitely have a shot to win that
All
one.
right, heard it
Because
first. Brennan hates
Notre
Evansville.
Dame.
Okay,
Um,
we're gonna get our weekly pick 'em out on Twitter. Keep staying tuned. New followers to the content we're putting out. We're gonna keep doing that. See you guys on Monday. Later.